Namaste children, welcome back to another session of our chapter body movements. So in our first class we learned that locomotion is one of the important factor where the living organism is moving from one place to another place to do several works, that to find their food, water, to protect themselves from the enemies, to protect themselves towards the unfavorable environmental conditions, and even to lay eggs in a suitable places. Every living organism, they are moving from one place to another place. Other than that locomotion, we living organisms will even show some body movements. So to show that body movements, specialized systems like a skeletal system, muscular system, that are formed in our body, which are playing a key role in our body movements. So in our today's class we are going to learn about this skeletal system. So generally, as all you know, skeletal system, it is made with bones. So what are the main functions of bones? Let us learn today. So bones, they are the rigid organs which are a part of our endoskeleton. Remember this word, endoskeleton. Endo means inside. So skeletal, these bones, they are present inside the skin in case of vertebrates. So we are saying such a skeleton as a endoskeleton. So bones are the rigid parts because they are giving a stiffness, firmness to the body. So those are the rigid organs that constitute a part of our endoskeleton in case of your vertebrates, and which are mainly containing calcium as their core element. What is the main core element present in your bones? Calcium is the main core element present in the bones. And along with that, your bones, they are helpful to protect and support different vital organs present in our body. Okay, and even these bones, they are helpful in the production of RBC and WBC, because the center part of this bone, we are calling it as a bone marrow. So this bone marrow, your RBC production is taking place. So your particular bone, it is not only giving a support, it is even helpful in the production of RBC and WBC. So as I said, it is giving protection. So to which body parts it is giving protection? So it's giving protection to the entire body parts. But especially if you will see, when some important organs like our brain, it is protected by the skull. Now when it comes to heart and lungs, these are protected by the rib cage. Like that, every internal vital organ, it is protected by some part of our skeletal system. Along with that, as you all know, bone, it gives a framework which is supporting our body. So now that bones together in our body, they are forming a skeletal system. So in this skeletal system, at top, you are dividing this skeletal system into some parts. The first one, that is your cranium, or you even can call it as a skull. It is a part of the skeletal system. Okay. Now the second part, if you will see, that is the backside part, that is nothing but your backbone. This is another important part of the skeletal system, which is always and always helping us to stand erect. Now the third important part of our skeletal system, that is this one, it's your rib cage. A cage like structure, a box like structure that is made with a bones called ribs. It's called your rib cage. Now after that, here you can see your limbs. Four limbs, that is your hands, and hind limbs, that is your legs. Along with these fore and hind limbs, now some griddle like structures, that is your shoulder griddle and hip griddle. These are also the parts of our skeletal system. So altogether, the skeletal system parts we can divide into, first one as a skull, then backbone, then comes to your rib cage, then limbs, that is your forelimbs and hind limbs, at last your griddle. These are some different parts that are, so these are the main parts that are present in our skeleton. One is your skull, second one is backbone, third one is ribcage, limbs and griddles. Such a skeleton, what type of functions it is doing? As already I said, it is supporting our body, it is protecting the important organs, internal organs, and even helpful in the production of RBC, WBC, helps in the standing erect position. Such a skeleton, the main part we are seeing, that is skull. Skull, it is the topmost part of our human skeleton, which is a bony case, which is scientifically even called with a name called cranium. Such a skull, if you will observe carefully, it is made with a different set of bones. Almost around 22 bones are used to make the skull. So now in these 22 bones, 8 bones are totally flat in their nature, which are present here and making the upper part. Or you even can say it as a brain box, which is enclosing our brain. That's what we are calling it as a cranium. Okay, so out of 22 bones, with what our skull is made, 8 bones are totally your flat bones, which are forming the entire brain box, which is called cranium. The rest of 14 bones are present. Now these 14 bones, they are occupying the remaining part, that is the shape part, the shape of our face, that is formed by rest of 14 bones. So when you observe the skull carefully, you always find that inside the skull all different type of joints, like 22 bones are present, means all these 22 bones, they are combined with each other. So those joints are totally non-movable. So your brain is your skull, it is a part where you will see the non-movable joints, but only the lower part, the lower jaw bone, is the only one movable zone that is present in our skull. Only the lower jaw bone is the single movable bone that is present in our skull, which is helpful in taking the food and chewing the food. And even this lower jaw bone, it is helpful in speaking. Okay, so now after that, let us move to the next part of our skeletal system, that is our backbone. So backbone, it is forming a main axis of our skeleton. And this backbone, if you will observe carefully, you will find that backbone, it is made with a small ring-like bones. Like how many bones are present? 33 bones, 33 small ring-like bones. They are arranged in a straight column, which we are seeing as a vertebral column, or a spine, or a spinal cord, or a backbone. 33 small ring-like bones arranged in a straight column, that is called your backbone, or you are even calling it as a spine, or you even can call it as a vertebral column. So now these bones, in this small 33 bones, if you will observe carefully, a small gap is present between them. So due to the presence of this small gap, you are able to bend, you are able to twist our body. Okay, and even these small bones, even though these are small bones, they are playing a vital important role, because they are protecting the delicate organ that is called your spinal cord. It's a very soft, delicate organ that is protected, that is your spinal cord, which is protected by your vertebral column or your backbone. So now after vertebral column, now it is about the next part of our skeleton, that is your, yes, absolutely, it's a rib cage. Rib cage, it is made with 12 pairs of bones. From the, now these 12 pairs of bones that are called are ribs. So in these 12 pairs of bones, the first 10 pairs of bones are completely fixed ribs. They are not moving, because from the front side these ribs, they are connected with the center breastbone that is called your sternum. So this is your sternum, that is the center breastbone. And now to this, now all the 10 pairs of ribs that are connected from the front side and from the back side, they are connected with the backbone. Okay, now observe this rib cage carefully. 10 pairs are connected to the sternum, so we are calling it as a fixed ribs. But the rest 2 pairs that are open in the front side, they are not connected to the sternum. So these 2 we are calling as a floating ribs. These 2 we are calling it as a floating ribs. So immediately below this rib cage, we are having a muscular plate-like structure called diaphragm. So now these floating ribs and diaphragm together helpful in the breathing mechanism. Like we can see here, like in this picture, particular picture, you are able to see the red color one is the rib cage, which is made with a muscles. And now whenever the rib cage, it is contracting and relaxing, now the floating ribs are also moving together. Diaphragm and floating ribs helpful in the breathing mechanism. Okay children, now after rib cage, it is about the limbs that are present in our body. Limbs are the next part of our skeletal system, where the front limbs that are our 4 limbs called your arms, and the back limbs that are called hind limbs that are called your legs. So in our body, if you will see the front limbs, they are not directly connected to the backbone. With the help of a griddle, they are direct connected to the backbone. That we will speak later. 4 limbs are the front limbs, where the limbs, if you will see, the limbs are having 2 different bones. The upper bones, it is called your upper arm bone, or you even can say this bone here as a humerus. And down you are having 2 set of bones. One is your tibia, or you are even can say it as a radius, and the down one, it is your ulna. So now this humerus, radius and ulna, they are connected at a joint region which we are calling as a elbow. Now this ulna and radius, they are connected with the rest region with the fingers. Okay, 4 limbs we are calling as a hand region, where in the hand you are having an upper arm and the lower arm. Upper arm is made with a single bone which we are calling as a humerus, and the lower arm, it is made with 2 bones. One is called your ulna and the second one is called your radius. Ulna and radius are also connected to the fingers with the help of the wrist. Okay, now after these 4 limbs, now it is about your hind limb. So hind limb, same like 4 limbs, it is also having an upper leg and the lower leg. So upper leg is having a longest bone of our body, that is called your thigh bone, or you even can say it as a femur. Remember this word. The longest bone present in our body is the thigh bone, which is your femur. So when it comes to the down part, In the lower leg, you are having a thin bone and a big bone. So the thin bone, it is called your fibula, and the thick one, it is called your tibia. Now this fibula and tibia at the ankle region, they are connected with the toes. Okay. So now we are talking about the griddles. Another important part of our skeletal system, that is our griddles. There are two different types of griddles that are present in our body. One is at the shoulder region, a pair of shoulder griddles on the right and left side of our backbone, they are present. One is at the pelvic region, you are able to see here. At the pelvic region, pelvic griddle or a hip griddle is present. In the shoulder regions, you are having the shoulder griddles. So children, in our today's class, we learnt about different parts of our skeletal system. Okay, so in our next class, we are going to learn about the different joints that are helpful in the movement of our skeletal system. Okay, children. So open your textbook and start reading up to functions and parts of your skeletal system. Thank you so much.